Hello, my name is Cassandra. For those who don't know me, I am currently living in an RV motorhome along with my 2 toddlers, my husband who is a travel nurse, and we're here in California on a 3-month contract. So we've been living so far 2 months in an RV for the first time. So we are complete RV newbies with no RV knowledge beforehand. So we've been learning as we go. And so I'm making some of these videos and vlogs to kind of give you my experience. In no way am I an expert, but maybe this information might be something useful for somebody who doesn't know and is considering. So here we go. Let's go. So if we had to continue living the RV life or live full-time in the RV, live full-time in the RV, one of the things I would consider is switching to probably like a 5th wheel travel trailer that has bunk beds. Okay. Because, all right, stop. This part up here is, I mean, it works for the boys right now, but it's not that convenient. Bunk beds have their own space, and there would be a space also for maybe more toy storage. So I kind of switch this space out during the night. The mattresses come up, they're little toddler mattresses, and they sleep up here. But then during the day, I take the mattresses out and put the toys up here. So that's one of the things I would probably end up doing if I were to do full-time RV. No. One of the things that I kind of showed in another video is that I have to keep these boys pretty occupied, because if not, they will drive me insane. And let's be real, there's some days that I do not want to do much, and it has cost me a mental stability. So I'll just be like miserable all day. So it's very important that if you have kids that are not in school or you're not homeschooling, even then I think it's going to be hard. But just little boys, little kids in general, cannot be stuck inside the RV in a small space all day. But today it's freezing outside, so I have to kind of like keep the activities going. And not stay too long in one activity so that they don't get bored and decide to misbehave because they're bored, or I'm not giving them that one-on-one attention. Let's see how long they last here, and then we will switch up the activity. Chris, what do you like about the RV?
I like the RV, a big one.
You like that it's big, or do you want a bigger one? What do you like about the RV? Listen.
Whoa.
And that's that. I'm gonna have some tea right now. I usually don't heat the water on the stove for tea or coffee or nothing like that. I know some people do. Typically I just put it in the microwave, heat the water there. But I'm gonna explain to you why I'm not using the microwave right now. So RVs have 2 types of electrical systems that I know of. Now, I'm not an RV expert, I'm just talking about our RV experience so far from what I've been learning. This motorhome has a 50 amp electrical system, but the RV park that we are at does not have 50 amp plugs for the hookups, the electrical hookups. They only have 30. So we have a converter currently right now to 30 amps, which means that the amount of electricity that we can use wattage wise is reduced. Now let me try to explain this. 30 amp electrical systems basically just hold 3,600 watts. From that conversion, I just Googled it. So typically you will see that the RVs that are smaller will have 30 amp electrical systems, because smaller RVs don't have like a lot of appliances and obviously don't use that much electricity because of that. So you'll find that, you know, some travel trailers, fifth wheels that have just a TV, microwave, couple electrical outlets, and a fridge, and a roof AC, will have a 30 amp electrical system. Now those with 50 amp electrical system are capable of holding a lot more appliances and using a lot more appliances. So you'll see the ones that have 50, they'll have a washer and dryer in the unit, fridge, the microwave, TV, 2 AC units. So they will use more electricity. That makes sense, you know? Now, since we converted from 50 amps to a 30 and plugged it in where we're at right now in the RV, we cannot use all our appliances like we are capable of, because it will trip the breaker. So we've had to learn how to manage it and kind of calculate what we're going to be using at the same time. Granted, I've never done that in my life. Oh, let me go make sure the dryer and washer's turned off before I turn on my microwave. So it's kind of funny, but that's what we've had to learn. So maybe this is common knowledge for RV people, but it wasn't for me. And so we've had to kind of do some math, be like, oh wait, let me Google how many watts the microwave uses, and make sure that when I turn on this other appliance, it's not going to trip the breaker. Now, just like everything in life, the only way that I've learned this system is through trial and error. So yes, the breaker has tripped multiple times, and I've had to call the RV office here in the RV park to have somebody come and reset electricity here. And they also gave us like a sheet of paper that kind of has like the average, wattage for the devices to kind of like, okay, why don't you calculate your own? Using the bathroom? Okay. So, since we've been here a few weeks already, couple months, finally got the hang of it. And usually what we'll do is we'll be like, all right, I'm gonna be turning on the microwave, make sure you don't turn on whatever. Because we just forget. It's so easy to be accustomed to living in in a house. So some examples of some, problem that I had that made the breaker trip. I turn on both ACs. So we have one here for the main area, and then we also have one in our room. Can't turn on both ACs. That'll just automatically trip the breaker. Having, washing clothes while using the microwave, no. Because the microwave actually uses a lot of electricity. Same thing with the washer and dryer combo that we have. The other thing that uses a lot is the iron. So since I have a washer and dryer, it's actually pretty small, and out of laziness of wanting to get rid of, actually wash the most laundry possible in one sitting, it's a lot of clothes, and then it comes out like super wrinkly, so I have to use the iron frequently. And so plugging that in and having something else on is like a no. It will trip the breaker again. So like I said, usually what I'll do is just we've kind of Googled the amounts of electricity that each of the devices uses, so that we can kind of like see, oh, okay, This will go over the you know, the max amount of wattage. And then if not, we'll just end up tripping the breaker and asking Harry to come in and reset it. So that's been embarrassing, but it is a learning process. So if you don't know anything about RVs and you're curious about the RV life, then you will have to figure that out. So another thing that kind of bothers me about, you know, the RV living in this motorhome is that the smells, like the smell of food when cooking in here, it just goes everywhere. Now that's typical with a house, but when you're like in a limited space, contained space, it's just obvious that the smells are going to be, you know, strong. So if Chris decides to like make some crazy, you know, steak or, you know, stuff like that, the smell of garlic, I mean, it's just all over the place. I have been seeing that some of the fifth wheels travel trailer will come with an option of having like an outdoor kitchen. Some have like sinks and like little stove outside, so that's cool because then the cooking's done outside. And for me, I don't know what it is, I just have like the OCD with smells. It's all the mess of the cooking. So I think that's something that, you know, we would keep in mind if we were to do this full time, is to, you know, switch to something that has the option of having an outdoor kitchen. Chris did buy like a little portable, little burners that he can actually have like a little stove outside. So he's been doing that lately, but it's still like crazy how much the smell can just, you know, stay in here. So if you Google, a lot of people have some remedies and ways that they've been able to keep, you know, those strong smells out of the RVs. Another thing you'd have to consider, you know, moving from a home to an RV is, you know, if you're okay with kind of like living pretty close to other people. Now, typically that is the kind of layout in a community, you know, even with housing communities nowadays. But if you're somebody who had, you know, space in between, you know, property, and don't want to be a couple of feet away, that's something that you have to know, unless you're like boondocking or in other RV spots, you know, RV resorts that have like, you know, a pretty big space for you, private space. But most of the RV parks are going to be like back to back. So, I mean, that's neighbor. It's right there, the other neighbor. So, I mean, it's close together. So you can basically, I know that most of the neighbors probably hear my toddler screaming, so that's kind of annoying, you know. So your business might be a little bit exposed because this is not, you know, thick walls. So just keep that in mind. Privacy is like super important for you. Maybe RV parks like these are not a good option, and you'd probably consider, you know, boondocking, paying more money for like more space. So that's something that just kind of bother me because I'm more of like a private person. So you'll see me kind of like dropping the shades a lot, because especially if I know that the neighbors are there, I feel kind of like weird, like they might be looking in, or, you know, kind of paranoid. But yeah, that's just me. So that's something that I've had to kind of like learn and get used to, is just being like awfully close to people living around you. All right, so this video is already long enough. If you've even gotten this far, thank you. But I will be making a part 2 to the video because I'm going to talk about, oh, somebody is pooping. Let's go back here. I'm going to actually talk about poop. Yeah. Freshwater tank, if you can see here, black, gray, freshwater, and toilet stuff and bathroom stuff. So I'll be making another video with that information so I don't bore you too much. Bye. Thank you.